Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Forgotten Gear Restorations. We're sitting here on a Friday. I'm in a parking lot. We got the din of cars zipping by in the neighborhood. A nice cool breeze going in through the windows as I wait for the little guys to get out of school. So might as well cut a little voiceover. We've got a Mesa Boogie triple rectifier solo head on the bench. Came in with a fault in the channel switching. Quickly fixed that, but now there's a pervasive 60 hertz buzz present in the preamp. What is going on? Let's find out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Top of the morning, goons and mutants. It's actually the bottom of the morning. Mike, this is your Mesa Boogie triple rectifier solo head. And it's so funny how things come in seasons. It's apparently Mesa Boogie season. I got another triple rectifier off to the side of the bench. Also an original 5150 that's coming in for service. Mike, I do appreciate your patience as I was working through a bit of a backlog. Nothing too crazy. Like the other triple rectifier solo head I worked on in recent times, this one is having issues with channel switching. Now, we had the logic chip fail and also the switch itself fail on that other one. Let's see if we're kind of getting the same thing here. Are we? I have no idea. So let's give her a little warm up and see what she's going to do. Now, I'm going to have to reach around back in order to manipulate the channel switching because I do not have the appropriate cable. At least I'm gonna have to go through the back end and see if I have anything for your foot switch there, Mike. So you guys stand by. Oh hell, why even stand by? We're in the green channel. Green is clean. You'll have channel 2, which is orange, and channel 3 should be red. I'm gonna give her the old reach behind and see if we can instigate some channel switching or some errors. And there's just nothing there. So let's see what she's gonna do, if she's even outputting sound. Of course she's not going to, because I need to take it up standby. We have some noisy controls, Bubba. Okay, let's try it again. So I'm going to have to take her out of the head shell, and then we'll have a physical inspection there for you, bub. Bye. All right, Mike, and the rest of you goons and mutants out there. The chip responsible for the logic for the switching matrix is a LM3914, an N1 variety. This is what it looks like. It's just a chip. That's all it is. So it sits over here. Let me break you off. Hang on. And there it is, just above that little yellow wire there. And it, in conjunction with the series of JFETs and the switch itself, will take you from the green channel through the red channel. So I'm going to take some measurements. And then we'll determine whether or not this dude is the culprit, or if the switch itself, or if it's one of the myriad JFETs there, or maybe a shorted tantalum, which Randall Smith loves to use. And he sticks them right on the rail, butted up against a source of voltage that is right up against their max rated spec. So he's just asking for it. All right, do we have a nice prepped area for the new 3914 to live? I'm going to see if I have a socket. If I do, I'll go ahead and socket it. If not, I'll just drop it straight in there. So stand by. But first, let's get this little lady out of there. We don't want to burn her up. So I've already removed the solder from the leads there, and we'll pop her out. All right, there we go. So just going to clean up the area a little bit more. These boogie boards are, boy, they don't like isopropyl alcohol because the entire thing just breaks down into a gummy mess. So you kind of have to work with a heat gun as well. And now what? Let's check it out. Red, orange, and green. In business. All right, Michael, yes. Channel switching has been restored. And am I happy. I just so happen to have, I just thought, you know what? I'm not going to buy one chip. This was for the last one. I'm going to buy a pack of them, and I got like a 10 pack of those chips because I've been seeing a lot of Mesas come through with the same issue. So you have some noisy pots, and there's quite a few of them. I'm going to need to spend some time cleaning these guys out. Your tube sockets as well. You got a couple microphonic preamp tubes. You probably heard that during the initial demo when we were stuck on the green channel. So stand by, and then you got a ton of jacks I have to clean out. And when I say clean, I don't just mean I'm going to spray some fluid in there and then make love to it with a jack, with a 1/4 inch plug rather. I literally have to go in there. I'm going to do that too. But I have to go in there with this little guy, and I have to burnish each one of these little contacts. It'll go in there like that. And then I'll polish the contacts there so that we're getting a perfect connection as it's, as it's in its resting mode. Normally close these guys. So hopefully, you know, loop-wise, that'll help to mitigate some of the noise that I've been hearing. So stand by. Bye. Oh, Mikey, I think she cleaned up nice. What do you think? Have some dust down there that I could finish getting out, but all the sockets have been cleaned and retensioned. Same with all these pots, the jacks, switches where possible. Tightened up all the hardware. She should be good to go, so we'll get a little sound sample. All right, Mike, this is where I got to stop for the day. Listen to that in the background. That's what I'm dealing with. You can modulate the noise by the loop control for the send, or by pulling V2 over here. It just goes away. Actually, it's not V2, pardon me. I think it's V3. V1. V4, which I think may be part of the return for the effects loop. And then obviously V5 would do it. So V1, 4, and 5, obviously V5 would do it because that's the phase inverter. So that's the noise I'm getting over here. And then that's what I'm hearing. So that'll be the next thing. Talk to you soon.